channel Sky 182. Don't miss the debate by Nigerians and friends of Nigeria on issues surrounding Nigeria from around the world. Good evening. You're welcome to Ben Television, broadcasting live from London, North London in the United Kingdom. And it's your program, Politics with KO. We're back live again. It's been 2 weeks of hard work by Ben Television to make sure that you get better quality program, better sound, and a lot of hard work has actually gone into improving what is your station, Ben Television. So we're happy to be back. It was 2 weeks of sacrifice for you. You had to put up with repeat programs. So I'm sure you all love the fact that things are better now. It's quite a lot of hard work on the part of Alistair Shoyede and his team, and we just want to say well done to them. Today, we're going to look into youth unemployment in Nigeria. The background of this is, of course, a few weeks back, Nigerian immigration authorities advertised for 3,000 jobs. And guess what? Almost 1 million Nigerian youths turned up all over the country, from the north to the south, east, west. Almost 1 million young Nigerians turned up for 3,000 positions in Nigerian immigration. Well, that's not actually the news. The news is actually that the immigration authorities shortlisted almost 700,000 Nigerians to come and pick up, write an examination, not in a hall, in different stadiums across Nigeria. And sadly, we lost almost 20 young, vibrant Nigerians as a result of stampede. On this program, we just want to say, may their soul rest in peace, but we have to critically look into youth unemployment in Nigeria. And tonight, I'm going to have in the studio Dr. Seun Kolade, and then joining us later will be Yemisi Akindele, and Victoria Ibezim-Ohaeri is going to join us live from Nigeria. She is a coordinator of Spaces for Change, and she's been doing a lot of work to make sure that these guys who lost their lives do not just go like that, that justice must be done. But first, Ngozi, how do you feel? We have a new background, and we have to say thank you to the young Nigerians who called in for Nigeria and said, we want to do something with Politics with KO. And that is the result of your hard work. We do say this program is for everybody. For everybody. It's a volunteer program. We don't get funding from anybody. It's your program, and we just want to say thank you to the young Nigerians who put this together for us. Absolutely. So, Ngozi, what do you have for us today?
Absolutely. Kolade, thank you very much. Yes, first of all, welcome everybody. I am excited to be back. I've missed my Politics with KO family, so it's been great. And of course, like you said, I like the new background that we have. News-wise, it's still the same old story when it comes to corruption in Nigeria regarding missing money. However, this time around, it's regarding the Minister for Petroleum Resources in Nigeria, Ms. Diziani Alison Madueke. Apparently, she's now under probe by the House of Reps in Nigeria, the House of Reps Committee on Public Accounts, for allegedly spending over 10 billion naira on air and maintenance services, air charter maintenance services. Now, I mean, it's ridiculous to think of it like that when you think about the fact that how much do we pay? About 200,000 naira equivalent to fly. Why did she spend this much money? However, the fact that she spent this much money has called for loads of citizens of Nigeria calling for her resignation, both here in the diaspora as well as at home, because they say it's a reckless spending. Of course, this comes under the heels of the missing billions of dollars from the Petroleum Corporation that saw the suspension of former CBN Governor, Central Bank of Nigeria Governor, Mr. Sanusi, last month. So it seems like President Goodluck Jonathan's government is just really coming on the rise for more and more corruption. Having said that, you know they've now sworn the new CBN governor, Godwin Emefiele, I think that's how you say it. And this Mr. Godwin Emefiele has now unfolded his plans on how to grow the economy. In his own words, he says that under his own watch, CBN is going to adopt a new development banking model. Isn't this the same thing that Sanusi told us?
Well,
everything was going to everything was going to change. Definitely, we have been here before. He also said that he was going to look into the budget expenditure components in the CBN, and obviously what happened with the Sanusi regime when he was there. So we'll wait to see what you think of this. Again, as we always do, tweet us and let us know your thoughts on this. Mine is at Gelungozi, and Kaide's is at Ogunda Messi, and let us know. Finally, before I go, this is exciting for me. Kaide Fayemi, Governor of Ekiti State, has now started this campaign for his second term, and apparently went very well. However, what I really liked about watching it and following it up was the fact that he said that he has an advantage, and the advantage is that he's running on record, and there are people who will promise heaven and earth and not deliver, but that he delivers all the time.
We're waiting for that time to come, but I should also say, for the sake of balance, Okoyemi Bamidele, the candidate of Labour Party, has also started his campaign today. And then we also had Ayo Fayose is back in Ekiti politics. He's going to be the flag bearer for the PDP. So we have APC, PDP, and Labour Party, you know. So Ngozi, thanks. I'll just go straight to Nigeria, and we have from Nigeria on the line Victoria Ibezim, who is the she is the coordinator of Spaces for Change, because we want to go straight into this discussion, and then we're going to bring in Seun Kolade. Victoria, are you there?
Hi, good evening.
Hello, Victoria. You're welcome to Politics with Care. Can you just give us a background as to what happened in Nigeria with this issue of youth unemployment and the death of these young people?
What happened last Saturday, that is March 15, 2014, was very tragic and unfortunate. Unfortunate in the sense that it was totally foreseeable and totally avoidable that it happened. It has happened before. This is not the first time Nigeria is witnessing a stampede in Nigeria Immigration Service examination. And it happened in 2008. I think it also happened in 2012, and it happened again. So this year, why we're particularly outraged is that institutions, officials are learning nothing from past experiences. Why would a state agency use a stadium of 60,000 capacity and to conduct an examination and invite 7,000, knowing that they are going to have problems with crowd control, they're going to have problems with coordination, they're going to have problems with logistics? They made no such plans to deal with this challenge and allow these young Nigerians to go there and die. What is even much most painful is the reaction of officials after the incident. There was no empathy. They instead started blaming the young people that died, blaming them for being impatient. If this is an incident that happened in one place, we could actually blame some of them for, impatience. But this is a tragedy that was duplicated across the state, which means that something went wrong. Something was fundamentally wrong with the planning, with even the entire idea that people have to pay, people that are helpless or have to pay to get employed.
Okay.
So something is very wrong.
Okay, Victoria, I know that you yourself and your group, you've opened up a website. You want us to keep the memory of these young Nigerians. You don't want us to forget them. Tell me what you are doing to immortalize the names of these young Nigerians, and how are you trying to make sure that those responsible for this unfortunate incident are not do not go scot-free?
Yeah, I did work on the incident. Spaces for Change was one of the signatories to a statement that was signed by a lot of eminent Nigerians calling for the resignation of the Minister of the Interior for his recklessness, for his negligence, and we continue to call on the President to get that man out of that office. Then, what we were doing with immortalizing the people, when we set up the Never Again website, the name of the website is Never Again. It's a blog where we want to digitally immortalize those that died, and also demand justice for those that have been wounded, and continue to provoke a collective reminiscence of the injustices that should never happen again in Nigeria.
Okay, Victoria, Victoria, if you're still there, can you tell me do we really learn lessons from these incidents? Do we really see any? What is the way forward? Actually, how can we stop this kind of things from happening again?
So, what can happen again is that those affected need to first of all understand that something has happened to them. Nigerians need to move away from complacency. There's total complacency. The minister that was responsible for this tragedy is still sitting there retaining his office. We are gradually moving towards a state of total helplessness in Nigeria where there is zero accountability for anything. So that is accountability is key. One way to avoid this tragedy is to totally everybody has to start demanding for accountability. You don't have to wait for somebody to die. You don't have to wait for your relatives to die. Whenever such injustices happen, Nigerians need to rise up and stand up and say, no, we don't want this to happen again.
Okay.
And whoever that is involved must be held accountable.
Okay.
It's not just enough to remove the minister. He must be prosecuted and tried.
Okay, before we let you go, Victoria, I would like to ask you this question. How are Nigerians reacting to this incident on the social media, Nigerians on the streets? How are they really reacting to it?
Yeah, it's sad. Let me tell you why it's sad. There's outrage. The outrage is uniform. Everybody wants this man to be punished. That is fair. But the other side where I think is funny is that the people who have the responsibility to make sure this man is punished, that is the powers that be in Nigeria, the president, the executive arm of government. They do nothing, and Nigerians know that they will do nothing. And Nigerians are, well, some people even defend that action, that yes, it's due process, you know, that it should take time, and that is the aspect that is very funny. So if Nigerians need to come together and understand that the person that has committed that wrong is as guilty as the person that has refused to punish him. All of them are equally involved in this murder.
We'll let you go now. We want to thank you for joining us from Nigeria, and we hope to have you in the studio some other time. Thanks so much, Victoria.
Thank you.
Okay. Viewers, we have in the studio, we've got Dr. Seun Kolade. Seun Kolade is a public commentator. He's also quite passionate about Nigeria, and we could call him an in-house member of Politics with KO family. Seun, what was your reaction, seeing the headline, Nigerians trampled to death looking for employment?
I think it's a monumental tragedy. And thank you for having me. I think I agree with the point that Victoria has mentioned about the fact that we have a culture of impunity in Nigeria among the political elite. And we also have a nation whose memory is very short, because, a few weeks down the line, you don't see much again being talked about this in social media, if not for a program like yours that try to keep it in public consciousness. And it is right that we should focus attention on the particular minister and those officials that are really responsible. Well, I think we have to dig deeper, because it is easy for us to just scapegoat or to identify those as one or two individuals and then say they should be punished. So if they are punished, does that solve the problem? It does not solve the problem. We have a deep-seated and a wider problem of the problem of insular and callous, leadership in Nigeria. And I was just looking at the budgets, for 2014, to go back to the root of this problem. It's the fact that you have a national budget that about 73.7% of the budget is for the current expenditure.
Wow. That's for paying salaries.
For paying salaries and everything. And you have only 23.7%. And even for capital. But even when you see the distribution of those capital expenditures, in addition to the problem of corruption, which has always been there, I was looking at that, and you see that the presidency and the secretary of the state government are allocated 2% of the entire national budget, whereas youth development has an allocation of 1.7%.
Wow.
That goes to the heart of the problem we have. When you have just 2 officials that are supposed to be responsible, that are there at the behest of 160 million Nigerians, and the allocation is actually more than the entire budgetary allocation for youth development. I mean, it goes to the heart of the problem.
So, but the government keeps saying to us, I mean, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, the finance minister, and Labaran Maku, they made assertions to the fact that they've created about 1.5 million jobs.
Where are the jobs?
If, that's the question. If we have 1.5 million jobs, why do we have almost 1 million people rushing at skelter, paying 1,000 naira, I must say, as application forms? Now, what can we do? What is the root of unemployment in Nigeria? We've got the population to create companies that will give you. What's the root of unemployment?
Absolutely. Well, like I said, I mean, it's the problem of a very corrupt leadership. And to be honest, more than leadership, it's the problem of a nation that has actually lost its soul. We have lost our capacity for moral outrage, you know, at this sort of thing happening. I mean, we have situations in which actually you have some religious organizations actually complicit in the problem. So
when you say they are complicit, if the religious organization won't create jobs, why?
They won't create jobs, but we're saying that the reason why the problem of unemployment has festered and has actually degenerated over the past 15 years of civilian rule. I mean, I have some statistics here. Maybe when we come back to that, I'll give that. It's because we have a leadership that is not responsive, that is not responsible, that is not visionary, that doesn't have any will or any desire to promote the welfare of the populace. But in addition to that problem of, you know, uninspired and uninspiring and, you know, callous leadership, we have a sort of kind of culture in which, you know, the culture of transparency, probity, and accountability is not actually strengthened by a vigilant and, you know, active citizenry. And part of that problem is that you have that the politicians are manipulating, you know, religious organizations, including churches. And I speak as a Christian leader in this. That now you have people, when they talk about the problem of the nation, we say, let's just pray about it, everything will go. If that energy, of course we should pray, because it's important for us to pray. I agree, we should pray. But if that energy of millions of people who goes, you know, to churches and religious organizations is engaged in trying to make leaders accountable, then we would have been getting somewhere to the solution.
I should come in there and say one thing, though. We don't have... Government will not create all jobs for us. No. People need to be creative, and also graduates don't want to go into the farm. I'm probably guilty too, but is it not the issue of the fact that the young people themselves are not creative in sort of creating, being self-employed? Government will not provide all the jobs.
Of course we can talk about the fact that young people need to be creative. But let's go back to the point you just mentioned about farming. I mean, I did research for the past 4 years on agricultural productivity in Nigeria and innovations. And I have been to some of the farm settlements that were set up in the Western region in the 1950s, you know, by the visionary leadership of Obafemi Awolowo and the Action Group, government of the day. And you're looking back many years down the line, the same structure that were put in place then are still the same. They are dilapidated. I mean, I was in one of the farm settlements, and the state in which this farm settlement was located told me that was one of the best they have.
Wow.
And you have about half of the buildings there without roofs.
So we've not created any opportunity for younger people.
There is no opportunity. The infrastructural facility is not there. And again, when you look back at the budget, how can you create jobs when you are spending 80% of the resources that is supposed to be for the entire citizens on just a few, on less than 5% of the population?
Okay, I want to read your text messages. I've got Jamil. Jamil says, a country without light, there cannot be any meaningful solution to employment. Let there be light and other things shall follow, because it's with light that you have young people who will now be able to be creative.
And that's absolutely correct. That's absolutely correct. If you look again at the fact that from 1999, we have Obasanjo, you know, promising heaven on earth and saying, you know, we're going to fix this power problem. billions of US dollars, not just in US dollars, were spent. We haven't seen, any solution to the problem. A country without power supply is not going to advance in any area of development. Yeah. And that is one area. If you want young people to be creative, to harness their power of creativity and initiatives, and you don't have basic infrastructure, what you have is frustration.
Okay, I've got Lawal Ajadi sending in a text. He's saying that government cannot employ 10% of the unemployed youth, but they only need to create an enabling environment for the private sector to engage the teeming unemployed, which buttress one of the
Well, yeah, you have to engage the private sector, but you also have to be active. You have to be proactive.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes we talk about the liberal economic theory, and sometimes the dogma is pushed too much. Yeah. You see a country like Brazil, they didn't adopt IMF or, entirely liberal economic policies, and they have made giant strides in reducing unemployment. Again, you are talking about distribution of it. When you have this kind of budgetary allocation, and you have 10.7% allocated to education, you are not going to move forward. There's no way. Yeah. And there's a point that actually I need to make.
Yeah, go ahead.
That we talk about poverty statistics. Between 2004 and 2010, when we were, at the height of, civilian regime, poverty actually worsened from about 68.7 million of the population to 112.5 million of the population.
So we've had poverty has worsened under
it has worsened
under democracy.
Under the democratic rule, because in 1980 the poverty level was actually 27.2%. Imagine 27.2% to well over 60% in 2010.
Okay, let me quickly read this text message from Dan. Dan from London. Unemployment is due to inept vultures we call leaders. Revolution is the only way to dissolve these cabals.
That's an interesting comment. Yeah, and in fact, I think, we have been talking about revolution for as long as anyone can remember. We talked about this in 1993. It's good if a revolution happens. Revolution is a constructive thing. But what the politicians must know is that there will be consequences. They may be afraid of revolution, but revolution is actually the better alternative. And what you have seen, the trajectory of what is happening in the Nigerian state from 1993 is that you have seen incidences of armed robbery, of kidnap, of militancy, of terrorism that we didn't have before 30, 40 years ago, because you have millions of unemployed youth that can be manipulated.
Okay. I've got a text message. I am a Nigerian working with the BBC. I can see your station has improved. My name is Jumai. Can you tell your producer that the chest caption on your program is not clear, but well done for the improved quality? Well, we take the criticism on board, and I'm sure my producer is listening to that. But let's have Sheyi. Sheyi is on the line. Good evening, Sheyi.
Thank you for taking me. Just want to contribute. Firstly, I would like to say well done for all the good job you guys are doing to promote the positive image of Nigeria. I'm a Nigerian myself, and I just want to contribute towards the discussion. Firstly, I just want us to understand one thing, that, look, it is not government responsibility to even create jobs in the first instance. If they can create an enabling environment, I've been to Nigeria several times, and the young people they are so innovative, they are hungry for change, they want to see things happening. But if the government can create an enabling environment, if there is light, the roads are good, people will create jobs themselves. They will just come up with jobs, because if the basic things are not there, the basic things we take for granted here, the light, the water, the roads, the good roads, you can travel from London to Manchester within 2 hours. If all the basic amenities are there, I tell you, everybody can just put aside the government and just focus on themselves, and the entire economy will turn around. What we're shouting for, what we are seeking for, is for just the basic amenities. I tell you, Nigerians are creative. We are all over the world. These guys are creative. We've got people that are passionate, they want to see change. But I tell you what, if the enabling environment is not there, it will be difficult.
Okay, Sheyi,
that's just my little contribution.
Sheyi, thanks so much for calling. And I've got Prince. Prince says your topic is, what is your topic? And Prince, the topic is youth unemployment in Nigeria. And we've got Seun, Kolade in the studio. Victoria joined us from Nigeria earlier, and we're expecting Yemisi. Before I go back to Seun, I've got Paul says, Nigerian problems come from both leadership and the followers. There's deception also within the religious segment of the society, buttressing what you're saying. Now, Seun, I look at Nigeria. There's also youth unemployment in the UK, but the absence of social welfare in the country, is it a huge problem?
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, you're talking about social welfare. Let's not even go to social welfare. There's no health care. There are no basic services. I mean, you hear all kind of stories of, you know, and as we speak, you have actually literally hundreds of deaths happening in our hospitals daily because there are no basic facilities. Yeah. So the reality, just like the contributor mentioned earlier on, is that there is no enabling environment. In fact, the politicians have actually been creating an enabling environment for chaos, for terrorism, for armed robbery, for all sorts of vices. But you don't have basic infrastructures. So there's no way you can move forward in that kind of situation.
Okay, I've got this text message. It says, a country without any refinery that is working, how can there be employment? A country that is producing oil, that's got so much oil, and importing oil from countries such as Togo and Mali. I don't know about that, but that's the point too. But before I come back to you, I've got John on the line. Good evening, John. Hello, John. Do we have John there?
John, please.
Hello, John.
Hi, I'm speaking to you.
Yeah, where are you calling from, please?
Yeah, from London.
All right, go ahead, please.
Yeah, what I want to contribute is based on we youth, Nigeria youth. You know, Nigeria youth, you know, from our own perspective, it's like we are cowed. Because like Yoruba people used to say, that me only waku kweleke oyeli babai. You see, this youth of Nigeria, they don't want to. The revolution, I think, is the best thing for us to. You know, they should just embark on revolution.
Okay.
So
Okay, John. I take your point there. Youth should. From what John is actually saying, I look at it. You know, when you call young Nigerians out to come and protest about corruption, about unemployment, about change, you just get a very young minority coming out. When I saw loads of young people coming out to pay 1,000 for employment, it's amazing. You know, does it have a point there? That probably are actually satisfied with the system, so they're not doing much.
Well, I think he does have a point, but why pick on the youth? Let's talk about the entire population. We are all, you know, complicit in this in a way, because it's a collective responsibility. And if the unemployment and poverty continue to rise, the cost will be to society. So it is true that we have not summoned that positive revolutionary energy to move the nation forward in a kind of determined and focused manner. Otherwise, of course, you have seen a lot of consciousness raising in social media, but there has not been any sustained, you know, kind of mobilization of the entire populace. Not only the youth, of course, the youth mainly, but also the entire population trying to see that there's positive change.
Okay, Seun, what can Nigerians in diaspora do to help in terms of creating employment in Nigeria instead of just establishing companies around the world? What can we do, like help people back home?
Yeah, of course. I mean, there's so much we can do. When you look, for example, at these stories of some nations like Israel, you know, I mean, it was the
diaspora community
actually who are responsible for the making of the modern Israeli state. So there's a lot we can do, but the circumstances are particularly difficult. I mean, I have had stories from friends and people I know who wanted to invest in Nigeria, and they go there full of, you know, positive energy and spirit, and they come back frustrated because the basic facilities are not there. If you are going to establish a company in Nigeria and you have to effectively be your own NEPA, PSC and they call it now, you have to be your own security, you have to be your own water company and all that. I mean, there's no way you are going to make a profitable enterprise under that kind of situation.
I've got Ayo on the line. Good evening, Ayo.
Good evening.
Ayo, where are you calling from, please?
I'm calling from London.
All right, go ahead, please.
The situation, I was listening to NTA today, and I saw the situation during that recruitment. I mean, I think it was really, really embarrassing. And for the fact that people died, and up to now, no one has resigned, no one has been sacked, it fully speaks about the level of our corruption in the system. I mean, if this happened in the UK, I'm sure that 2011 riot that happened, same thing would have happened times two, because people want people to be brought to book. And for that to happen, and nothing has happened up to now. In fact, I was watching NTA News this evening on Ben TV, and I saw that there was a committee that was formed by the president to look into it.
Yeah, they were given 12 weeks to submit their report.
12 weeks, and some families are mourning right now about that situation. Some families are really mourning about that situation right now. And we have a president that has given a committee 12 weeks to look into such situation. That tells you how embarrassing our government can be on the international stage. And I heard you when you were asking that what can Nigerians in diaspora do?
Yes.
We can do absolutely nothing.
Wow.
We need a platform that we can work on. That platform that we have right now in that system in Nigeria will not encourage anyone to go and do anything positive.
Okay,
we need an opportunity to effect change, to bring change, and the government has not given us that.
All right, Ayo, thanks for calling in. We've got a text message that says, we in the diaspora must... Thanks, Ayo. We in the diaspora must continue to put pressure on government. Yes, there's not much we can do, but we can continue to mount pressure from wherever we are. Now, Seun, would you like to comment? The president gave, is like one person die, you get a job free. He said every family that lost a soul in that saga will get automatic employment. 3 slots to each family. How would you react to it?
What an insult. What an insult to the family. What an insult to the nation. And you are dealing, like I said, you are dealing with the political leadership, not just the presidency, with the entire political leadership that is completely detached from reality. They live in a different world entirely. They don't know, actually, what the problem is with the nation. And they are not interested in knowing. I'm sure, he didn't give that much thought. Maybe somebody just suggested it, and then the following day, he just instead.
Yeah, because the question is, if you're going to give someone a job because someone has died, what would be the parameter? Probably the president was just being emotional and thinking, let's just help out the family of the bereaved by providing employment.
He said, I'm not sure there was a lot of thought into that, actually. He said the president was thinking. I'm not sure there's a lot of thought that went into that. But again, we have seen this pattern in the history of revolutions, in the history of states. You have seen this kind of scenario. You have a situation in Russia before 1917 where 2/3 of the population were Serbs. They were landless, they didn't hold any property. A society cannot survive when the majority of the population are living in absolute poverty. And like we mentioned, in our own case, you have more than 60% of the nation living absolute poverty. That is one of the 4 different types of poverty. We don't have time to go into that. But when you have the majority of the nation living in absolute poverty, you cannot survive. Either you have a revolution, which will be good for the benefit of the nation, or you have anarchy, and which is what we have seen unfolding in Nigeria.
Okay, we've got I've got another text message. The Nigerian government has no future for the youth. The job they're giving to members of their family. The recruitment was just a formality. I pity those who just wasted their time and got killed. May their soul rest in peace. That's a text message from Ireland, Northern Ireland. I've got another text message. We all know that the fact that there will never be a way forward if we don't tackle corruption. On Twitter, someone just said, we have an insensitive government. We should be creating wealth, but all they are doing is stealing. I've got a caller on the line. Jamil, good evening, Jamil. Hello, Jamil. Could you just reduce the volume of your TV set? Good evening.
I'm reducing it.
Okay, we've lost. Are you still there?
I'm still here.
All right, where are you calling from, please?
I'm calling from London.
All right, go ahead, please.
Yeah, let me just tell you something. If you look at the whole 36 states of the Federation, there's never a state in Nigeria where they have Ministry of Labor. They only have Ministry of Labor at federal level. If they have Ministry of Labor at federal level, what is the connections, what is the synergy of Minister of Labor with the state labor department? Look at every country where they want to get the problem of employment solved. The Ministry of Labor at federal level liaise with the state level. We have said this several times. If you don't have Ministry of Labor at state level, there's no way you can get the problem of unemployment solved to the grassroots at local level. Most of the industry who employ is supposed to employ through the state. If the state for Ministry of Labor is efficient, they can easily recruit through the state Ministry of Labor to the companies within their state. And the local government will present the number of unemployed youth to the state. When they produce that, the state will present that to the companies.
Okay.
Any companies looking for a labor or looking for anybody should go through the state.
All right.
And this will give them the number to let them know the total number of youth who are unemployed in
Okay,
that state.
thanks, Jamil, for your contribution. I've got a text message. Let us bring death penalty to any financial embezzlement that will stop corruption. This is from Spain. I don't know about death penalty, but
who is going to bring the death penalty?
I don't.
The same senators and
it's interesting what
representatives.
Jamil was saying, though. There's no synergy between the state and the federal government in terms of the labor. But Sure-P seems to be one of the things there's Sure-P scattered around Nigeria. There's a You-Win program.
And what has become of it? What has become of it? I mean, my sense, with what we have seen in Nigeria, is that you have government just bringing all kind of nomenclatures and all kind of programs, without any serious intention or political will to make things happen. To be honest, it is not a complicated problem.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the statistics we have in Nigeria is that actually in the agricultural sector alone, there is potential for employment for millions, of Nigerian citizens.
Yeah.
At the moment, the yield per hectare in Nigeria is 20%, and is one of the very lowest in the world.
Wow.
That is just agriculture. And we are blessed with a nation where, well over 80% of the country, of the land is arable. Yeah. But you have irrigation is underdeveloped, and about 5% of irrigated land is irrigated. I mean, these are very, bewildering statistics. Yeah. And when you compare with other developing countries, we are not even talking about countries like UK or US. They have about 50% yield per hectare. Yeah. In Nigeria, we have just 20%. I mean, I was at the Ministry of Agriculture and Water Resources in one of the states in Nigeria. Yeah. And then I saw a lot of young people coming to make inquiries. Do you have opportunity for us to give us land? Yeah. We talk about young people not wanting to go to the farm. That's not the case. Okay. You have a lot of people willing to go, but
so they just don't have the enabling environment.
The enabling environment is not there. The will is not there. The serious intention is not there. The interest really is lacking.
So, but then, okay, I've got a text message that says the death of Nigerian job selection to families of those who died by the president is insensitive. President's care by providing job for the family is not the solution. It should bring the perpetrators of the crime to justice. That is a text message from Paul. Paul wants the president to bring the perpetrators to justice. That's the only way forward.
Well, it's well enough. It's a very noble sentiment, but how do you make that happen? It comes back to citizens. Well, I mean, you go back to the American Revolution, where the people were complaining that you can't be taxing us without representation. They made all the noise to the judge of Britain, but nothing happened until people decided to say, this must happen. We must make it happen.
Now, Seun, these young people that we have in Nigeria, they form a greater percentage of the population. I think it's about 60 to 70% of the total population. Right. So, and a lot of them are of voting age. Yes. From 1999 till date, we have the same political party at the federal level. Yeah. So, by implication, they are satisfied with the system. Are they not?
Well, I think you have a situation in which majority of the citizens, including young people, are frustrated with the system. They have lost faith in the system, and frankly, some have become apathetic to the system. Now, none of those kind of emotions are positive. You know, you can be frustrated. If you don't do anything about it, it doesn't take away the frustration. And apathy, to say, well, I can't be bothered, it can only make things worse, really. So, I mean, it is true that the electoral system we have is still deficient, is still defective, but at least that can be one of the platforms of citizen engagement. Okay. Because even as we speak, the percentage of people that can vote that have voted in previous election in Nigeria is probably less than 50% or 60%.
Okay, I've got a message on Twitter. It says, our government use big language that they do not know the meaning of to graduates. And the only illiterates are leading the Nigerian literate. Nigeria is simply upside down. That is a message from a Twitter message on the social media. And then I've got another text message, which I think this is Ushe. This is Grace. Grace says, how would you put pressure on Nigerian government? It's impossible. There's no clear path as to how you can raise issues for the Nigerian government. They will never listen. The people in the country have their guards on. They react as if someone is just saying that it's almost impossible to make suggestions for people in government. They won't listen to you. Now,
their default position is not to listen. You have to make them too. I mean, it's not new. I mean, we talk every single incident we talk about, the French Revolution. You know, Louis XVI just said there, I believe, nothing will happen. He has the divine right to the king. Until the people, you know, rose up as one and stormed the Bastille.
What are the implications of youth unemployment? You know, linking it with what is happening in northern Nigeria with Boko Haram and kidnapping in the south region. In Ibadan, we found a factory where they sell human parts. You know, what's the link?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the link is very obvious. Actually, we don't need to belabor about that. The reality is that when you have such high level of unemployment, unemployment and poverty are directly correlated. So you have high level of poverty, and when you're talking about 112 million people living in absolute poverty. Absolute poverty means, you know, they're living below humanly acceptable condition. You know, I mean, you get people, they get to the edge of frustration, and frankly, some to the edge of madness, really, and to the edge of desperation. And it's what leads to all this sort of thing that you have in Boko Haram. And, you know, we're not saying it's justified. We're explaining that accounts for it. And that is why we say there's going to be cost to society. If there is no revolution, there will be anarchy. And we're already seeing anarchy in Nigeria, as we saw in Somalia and other places.
Okay, Seun, I've got Shuku Jindu on the line. But before Shuku Jindu, Akin Abiodun sent in a text message. It says, what sort of unemployment? Can't you see that government is paying each delegate an entitlement of 12 million naira, 4 million naira per month, and we're complaining about per capital, not spending money on capital development. Shuku Jindu, good evening.
Okay.
Hello, good evening. Go ahead. Where are you calling from, please?
I'm calling from Hertfordshire.
All right, go ahead, please.
Okay. Actually, what I want to say is that there are two things. We need a change in our type of government. The U.S. type of system is not suitable for Nigeria. It's too expensive for us. How many governors have we got? That's 6 governors. How many commissioners? At least 10 times 36, that's 360 commissioners. All these things take up money. We don't need them. We can change them. We can throw out the government that's there now. We need a revolution, but not a revolution where because obviously we are all related. But we need to change. The U.S. type of government is not good for us.
But Shuku,
we have too many people in the Senate, too many people in the Assembly. All those people, we need to reduce them. In fact, we just need no governor. We just adopt the same system as United Kingdom.
But someone would say, Shuku, before you go, someone would say that you've got the.
So I think that will be one of the things that will help us.
Okay, you've got the national conference in Abuja. Is that not just another revolution to try and change things?
Yeah, but that's not enough because it will not do anything. I think after that, all those national conferences, what they will do is that they'll put it they will just put the whole thing on the shelf.
Okay.
It won't help.
Okay, thank you.
We need something to change.
Okay,
it's not PDP is not bad.
All right, thank you so much for calling. And on Twitter,
we need something to change.
Okay, thanks so much for calling. On Twitter, we've got Abi. Abi says, our fate is in our hands. Unemployed youths are those that rig elections for the current corrupt government. Abi has got a point there on Twitter that youths are used as thugs and they help politicians in rigging the election. So by implication, they deserve what they're getting, don't they?
Well, I wouldn't go as far as saying they deserve what they get, but I would say that is true. That many of those who are involved in thuggery and who are being used by politicians are youth as well, and that is part of the dynamics of anarchy. And that's what we're saying. If you don't have a revolution, you're going to have anarchy, because what you're going to have ultimately is that these same youth who are used by politicians will be engaged by the rival politicians to turn on their masters, and then you're going to have chaos, and then at the end, when their masters are no longer able to, to give them to employ them, they will turn on society.
Okay. Yeah, I've got another text message. Please, if you send in your text message, can you please put your name and where you're sending the text message from? We are receiving a lot of international text messages, but we can't identify you with the country code. Someone says, we are opening churches like supermarket. I have no faith in Nigeria because it's just scam everywhere. I've got Dr. Nwosu on the line. Good evening, Dr. Nwosu.
Good evening.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have been watching your program with keen interest. Yeah, it is quite uncanny that we are talking of governance. Nigeria haven't got any atom of government. We have got people who claim to be government, who are there just because they were sworn in by people who want to make use of them. By the time you talk about the wages we pay in Nigeria, who is being paid, half of that payment goes to people who have elected them in position, who are just hanging by the corridor. That's why we have hanging policies in Nigeria. Nigeria makes policies that makes your stomach rumble. It's very crazy for us to have such governance. And you talk about people who have lost their life because they're losing they went for jobs. Look at somebody handing out application form and asking you to pay £1,000. Which government will ask your citizen to pay 1,000 naira to get employment?
Yeah, and
who eats that money?
It
becomes an embezzlement.
Yeah, don't go yet. I just also want to mention, do you know that... Hello, just stay on the line. Do you know that to join the Nigerian army, you also have to pay to serve your country? I think we've lost him there. I was trying to make a point. Are you aware that to join the Nigerian army and serve your country in Nigeria, you still have to pay?
I'm aware of that. Isn't
that ridiculous that people who are going to die for the country, give their lives for the country, they have to pay to join the army?
I mean, you can go on a long list of things that just shows that collectively as a nation, we are a joke. And I think the contributor, last contributor, did make a comment that is actually very true and very, telling. That the fact that we talk about government, the word govern means you are in control. Is there anyone in control in a nation where you have Boko Haram on rampage, where you have armed robbers, every single day, harassing citizens, or sometimes in broad daylight? There is no government as it is in Nigeria, in the true sense of the word.
Okay, I've got a text message from Ireland. Ulamen says, we want a revolution now. The job, if any, have been shared by those in government for their children and children's children. How can you conduct an examination in the stadium? And then on Twitter, it says, because the pressure is too much on employers, they have resorted to subjecting job seekers in our country to demeaning situations like what happened during the immigration exercise. That's a message coming in from Twitter. Now, we just want to say thank you for, we've been getting a lot of multiple messages on the social media, text messages, and even on Facebook, and your phone call. But we just want to mention that we're trying to improve on the quality of your program, and Ben TV Television is doing a lot. You could see from the quality of the program now that we're just trying to make effort to make things better for you. We've got another caller on the line. Good evening. I've got Ibezim-Ohaeri. Good evening, Ibezim-Ohaeri.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, can you hear me?
Go ahead, please.
Okay. In fact, I heard you are talking of revolutions in Nigeria. The only thing that is going to make revolutions, a bit difficult is because of the ethnicity and religious, differences. People, Nigerian youth will have to be one. You forget about religion, you forget about ethnicity, and just go for a really true revolution. Because there is a recent lecture I attended, which is saying one of the items in Nigerian budget is to buy generators for Nigerian embassy here in London. That is one of the major items in the budget, to buy electric generators.
Okay, Alhaji Mohammed, sorry that I've got to cut you there because we're running out of time, and we encourage you to call in next Thursday. You mentioned the embassy there. We also saw about the corruption case, embassy staff, the Nigerian embassy staff, offering to carry stolen items, millions of dollars for the embassy. We're running out of time, Seun. We just want to say thank you for coming on Politics with Keo.
Thank you for having me.
Viewers, we're really glad to be back live on Ben TV. It's been an interesting program. But Seun, I know I've said goodbye to you. Can you tell me, Nigerians in the UK, are we faring better?
Are we faring better? No, we're not. Because our collective identity is linked with Nigeria. Wherever we are, if the Nigerian nation is in the state where it is, we are not faring better. Of course, we are involved. We suffer.
Okay, thank you, Seun. That's Dr. Seun Kolade on Politics with Keo, and we also had Victoria Ibezim from Nigeria. Next Thursday, we're going to bring you another edition of Politics with Keo. We just also want to say to you that, look, this is your program. We want to take your suggestions. We want people to call in, send us email. Our Twitter page is there. And for Tony, who has been doing a very wonderful job, without him today would not have been possible because he had to go out of his way to make sure we return live on the program. And Lester Shoyede, we can't thank you enough for providing this platform for Nigerians in the diaspora. It's good night and God bless you. My name is Kayode Ogundamisi. We had Ngozi Gale and other members of the production team saying, see you next week, Thursday. Good night.